I get the same feeling, so I'm coming day and night.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
She's already contaminated by this odd substance.
Jesus wept.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Okay. Hello. Good day. What up? G's up in here. How's it going? This is day 6, I think. Right? Yeah, day 6. Wherein we are doing days 13 and 14 in the 90-day screenplay. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, baby. Happiest of holidays. Do. Back to work. Yeah. So today, day 13, I'll just go ahead and pop this on. I discovered that StreamYard actually now allows you to create custom layouts, which I am very, very excited about, because for the longest time it was just the set layouts, which did not work for me entirely. I think I'll probably adjust this some more soon, but for right now, works pretty well having me up here. Hi, from up here in the right-hand corner. So today is day 13. Make it cinematic. And this chapter is basically just saying, hey, images are important, dog, especially juxtaposition of images. There's a really great example here right here. Think of Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids being told by her best friend that she has just gotten engaged. Her dialogue suggests that she is thrilled for her friend while her hand quivers as she puts the glass of wine to her mouth. Great juxtaposition. Hey, Mike, did Santa come down my chimney? He came all over the place, man. All right. So, writing exercises for today. What are the images that tell your story? How can you make them as compelling as possible? So first up is write down 10 arresting images that you see in your movie. I'm not sure I'm going to get too crazy here, but how do I want to do this? I guess 10 arresting images. There we go. All right. In fact, you know what? Let's go a little crazy here. Let's see if this looks better. Hold on. I'm going to try something a little different. Stop that. Present. I'm going to try just presenting fade in and see if that looks better. I mean, it looks overall better. I can switch back to down here now. Yeah, this is all right. This is all right. We don't need to see the book for the whole thing. This works. All right. It's a white Christmas, and the white is jizz. So first off, for arresting images, well, I really want Bailey being horribly maimed by the killer. I think we're gonna need like a mask for the killer as well. We're gonna need a mask. But specifically with Bailey being horribly maimed, I'm imagining she attempts to hold onto a oh shoot, the sides of a door. What's the word I'm looking? Frame. We'll do a door frame, but fails and is pulled back into a room. Back into a room, I guess. I don't really have anything beyond. I just like that. I like in Quarantine where slash Wreck where she's pulled into the darkness. That's what I'm thinking of. So really, actually, Into the Darkness. Let's steal from there. And actually, to steal more from Wreck, I think this is from Wreck. I could be mistaken. But I love that shot, that camera POV, as the killer is being beaten with the camera. Whatever that, I did that, not the exact same thing, but I did something similar in the head where we actually I've done that multiple times now where I'll take the camera and just swing it at somebody. And so I like doing that. And this is technically ripping off another movie, but that's okay. It is a-okay to rip off other people. I also had this idea of the main group, the pack, if you will, talking through their plans at the bar while in the foreground glasses are cleaned. You know, like you have what do we name our killer? Steve, is that right? Let's see here. Steve, yeah. We can even by Steve. Main group are talking through their plans at the bar while in the foreground glasses are cleaned by Steve. I love that. 4. Could make like a custom androgynous theater mask. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, this will be, of course, this will be something that we deal with far in the future. Not too worried about the mask, just that he is masked at some point. Actually, I was going to put Josh here, but the key grip fighting the killer, fighting Steve with a C-stand. I think that is really important to the film. The lube exorcism is also important. This is something that's in the original script, which I should go over that. We can go through the original script at some point. It's not very good. It's not a great script. But we can go through it and kind of get the idea of what the film was supposed to be through that. It's not a very good script. But the lube exorcism is basically you've got Mickey, who's our lead twink, tied down to a bed and covered in holy lube while a priest shouts at him. That's just necessary. And then I just thought about this. I just thought about this while I was getting ready. I would like to do a reveal of the effigy, and I don't have a picture of it readily available, but it's basically, the effigy is this thing that I have in my backyard that was used very, 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 very briefly in the head, and like a blinking you'll miss it thing, but I've had it in my backyard forever, and it now looks like complete shit. And I thought it would be great to do to have the effigy come back as a, hey, we built this thing for a movie that maybe never got shot. We should use it. It's great production value for nothing. And then they get to the effigy and it's just completely, it looks like absolute garbage. And I feel like that's kind of where the effigy revealed to be absolute garbage. and then a character should go, fuck. Because that's kind of what they're dealing with throughout the production, is just a lot of, fuck moments. All right, 10 arresting images. Okay. And those are all the ones that I came up with prior. Let's see. I wonder, what else from the old script could we utilize? Let's see here. Is this the okay? Yeah, this is a version of the script. Oh well, okay. Let's see. Bacchus is the priest, and him getting up and saying the devil is coming, I think could be a great scene. And we need that anyway. Bacchus will be played by the actor who plays Greg. Greg will be our first death. So he's going to be in the movie very little. So he's going to be probably part of the original shoot. We'll do luckily, the guy playing Bacchus in the original, I don't think he has changed much at all, nor will he. He's basically just a bald black guy. So as long as he is roughly in the same shape, we can just get that shot. Easy peasy. All right. What else from the script? There's a lot of dialogue. It's kind of meh. Ooh, there is the therapist, who Dr. Ron, who's supposed to get killed. We never shot his death scene. We shot the therapy scenes, but we never shot Dr. Ron himself. I really want to go through what we shot already, but I'm gonna have to edit it because there's a lot of cock, and we can't show cock on YouTube, unfortunately. So I'll I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I'll edit that so that there's no cock, and we can look at the scenes that we shot already. Again, they're not great. This was a bit of a failed production, but they're not bad either. They're just kind of there. Let's see. Ford plays this. I need some saxophone stuff. You know what would be great? You know what would be fucking amazing is shooting the saxophone scene. Ford, I don't know what his actor character name will be, but Ford playing the saxophone, playing sax, horribly, contrasted with the edited version, where it's timed to proper sax music. Which that doesn't seem like one shot, but in my head it works as one shot. And it says arresting images. That's not necessarily one shot. I think that'd be fucking funny, because that is something that you wind up coming across again and again with on-screen musician stuff. Is like when we did the head, Shannon, my friend Shannon, played the drums. She was the drummer for the band in the movie, but she can't play the drums worth a shit. And so it's just her like flailing and us cutting around her. And similarly, I don't think Mishka could sing. I can't recall, but either way, it's not her singing voice. It's her singing to a track. And there is a shot somewhere from the first shoot that we did for Twink, that is me just hovering the camera around Roger, who's playing Ford, and he's just like wailing on the saxophone, and it sounds fucking atrocious. truly fucking atrocious. So that'd be good. Let's see. Let's just random. Bacchus parks his car in front of Ford, who has been walking along with no shirt. Bacchus walks up to Ford. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's another great one. Ford walking down a street, shirtless, with a black backpack. That'd be great. That's something I'm stealing directly from David Dakota's work on 1313. And then finally, number 10. Let's go back to that script. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, right, the pool of holy water. Okay. This is another bit that I can take from real world experience. For Dr. Deathface, there's a scene where I had to perform a stunt and throw myself into the pool. But the pool's water, it was the fucking coldest. Because I think this was like literally last year. Or like early, I think it was either late 2023 or early 2024 when we shot that. I feel like it was late 2023. I don't think we shot anything in 2024. And it was, I felt like I was going to drown. So filming the holy water pool stunt in freezing conditions. Not freezing conditions because it's Vegas, but in cold weather. It doesn't have to actually be cold for it to work. We can just pretend it's cold. Oh, quick thought from Mad Mike. GIMP mask for killer, something that would be found around the bar and be generic enough to not point a finger in any specific direction. That could work, actually. And I own a GIMP mask. So that's actually really good. We might just do that. Thank you, Mike. All right. So we have our 10 arresting images. Now, 2. Actually, hold on. I'm going to... All right, so we're going to review the one-page synopsis. To do this, I'm just going to take the synopsis that we have, bring it down here, paste, and we can look at this. All right, so Josh Wakefield is a gay underground filmmaker who has finally been given a budget, albeit a small one, in order to... Let's break this up into sequences. How about that? So... Sequence 1. Josh Wakefield is a gay underground filmmaker who has finally been given a budget, albeit a small one, in order to make a feature film. Unfortunately, he's whiffed the process and is now mired in failure as half the film remains unfinished and his funds are depleted. All right, so that is our sort of destabilizing element, is the funds are depleted. So he's given a choice by his producer, Marilyn, either finish the film in the next week or get sued into oblivion for breach of contract. Now fully downtrodden, he joins his friends Bailey and Mickey, his lover, at their favorite gay bar for a drink, where he explains that the problem, including the one with the cast, Greg, who keeps not showing up on time. Shortly thereafter, Greg is brutally killed just as Josh gathers his cast and crew. I feel like the second act, I feel like, has to end with the killer killing. So really the destabilizing, yeah, okay. So sequence 2, he's given a choice by his producer. So we're going to have kind of like a co-destabilizing element. Greg is brutally killed just as Josh gathers his cast and crew for a final shot at a finished product. That's sequence 2. Sequence 3 is your first attempt at solving the problem introduced at the end of Act 1. Of course, the problem is that we need to make a movie, but there's a killer on the loose. I feel like some people would make the killer on the loose the midpoint, but I don't like that. I want to just get straight to the killing and not pussyfoot around it. So that would mean that this is sequence 3. And so this is our first attempt. Let's see. Day 1 goes exceptionally well, although Josh is worried about Greg having not answered texts or phone calls. Still, he improvises and figures out a way around the situation. Shortly thereafter, at the bar, Bailey opines that at this rate she'll never get her death scene that she was promised, and proclaims her intentions of walking if she doesn't get her way. The next day, she gets her death scene, which she is loudly negative about, as she feels it is not what she was promised. Bailey is soon after killed by the masked murderer in a particularly brutal fashion. So that might work. Let's try that. Like, because that is a full. The way to think about sequences is sequences are short films, and they are the 8 short films that comprise your actual finished product. And I feel like that's a nice overarching structure there. It starts off going well. Bailey's being bitchy about her death scene. She gets her death scene, but she is also then killed. Beginning, middle, and end. Sequence 4, that's our sort of final attempt to solve the problem before the culmination or the midpoint. Usually it's a high point for the character, for the protagonist, but that high point leads to a negative. There is, in the book, 8 sequence, or screenwriting, the 8 sequence approach. What does he use? He uses Tootsie as an example, because at the midpoint, Dustin Hoffman's character is at the height of his new career. He's become a star as Tootsie, but he's also living a lie. And this is then mirrored by the resolution, where he gives up his stardom, but is living his truth and is happier. So that is what we're looking at for sequence 4, is something to mirror the finale and kind of be the final attempts at solving the problem, or final attempts to solve the problem before that midpoint. So this, in theory, leads to a high point for our character. The next day, when Bailey does not show up on set, Josh is despondent and doesn't understand what he's doing wrong. He blames Bailey and Greg for ruining this last chance, while Mickey gives him a rousing speech at the bar to keep going, despite the others dragging him down. At this point, Josh says something that rubs the killer the wrong way, and also confirms their final location, which is seen as a win. We need to mention that final... I feel like I'm trying to think, like, what is some, like, what do we have available to us out here in the desert that could be used? There is, oh shoot, I can't think of the name now. Mike in with some more suggestions. What about an earlier kill that's mistaken for an accident? Then you get a hit of gore before the realization of a killer truly begins. Maybe. I don't know that we need it, because we'll see Greg's kill pretty early on, but maybe. Yeah, I guess there is that possibility that we could use even Greg's death. Maybe that's something. Let's add some notes. Early death that's seen as an accident. Yeah. All right. So, okay, I don't need to worry about the location right now. So it's seen as a win. So Josh is despondent. He gets. I feel like this more has to happen, but it ends with them getting the final location and the production moving to the secluded location, which we could have it just end with the location being confirmed, and then the next sequence 5, starts with the company move. This is where we get complications from the first culmination, and the resolution leads to more complications. So the production moves to the secluded location. There, Josh does some of his best work, goes back to basics to get things done. Unbeknownst to him and his small crew, the killer has followed them to the location. Unfortunately, things do not go quite as planned, and with the day nearly finished, there's still several pages of script left to go. Josh's doubt returns as he realizes that this is his last chance, quickly falling apart, and just then he hears Mickey's scream. Okay. Let's, for now, cut this off and say that this is where sequence 6 starts, just to try this out. So sequence 6, Josh discovers the killer, in reality the bartender Steve, in the middle of attempting to kill Mickey. Steve presents Josh with a tableau of death from his previous murders and explains that he's done all of this to save the production. Josh reprimands him, stating that he has only hindered the film and, of course, is pure evil, which Steve does not take well. Finally, Josh says, "We're making garbage," in response to a speech from Steve, completely setting Steve off into a full murder mode. Okay. So, which isn't, we need something here. Something negative to happen there. But then that can end sequence 6, which ends act 2. Right now I'm worried that sequence 6 is maybe our weakest, but that's okay. We can work with that. Well, what did you miss, Tia? We talked about some shots, some arresting images from the film, and now we're breaking down what we already talked about by sequence, which is not something that's recommended by the 90 days. It's just review and refine the one-page synopsis. To me, refinement is breaking down into sequences, which, again, I don't know if the book goes into this really. I do know that at some point we abandon the writing exercises and just get on with writing, which I think is where we're going to get a lot of our best work done. All right. So sequence 7 is basically, so sequence 6 is the main culmination of the movie, which I guess, everything going to shit and a killer being revealed is pretty big culmination. Sequence 7 is consequences of the main culmination. So it's everything. It's basically our hero responding to the main culmination. Which, let's see, Steve escapes and Josh rallies the troops. Steve escapes might be more of the end of sequence 6 than the beginning of sequence 7, but it's negligible at this point. Josh rallies the troops. He convinces the crew that they need to take up arms and take out this psycho before he can kill again. They use what they have, overpriced equipment, and eventually succeed in taking out Steve. I feel like that actually might work. Sequence 8 then is tension resolved, and that's the epilogue and everything. It's all the remaining stuff, all the wrap up material. So returning to civilization, Josh has accepted his fate. The movie is not going to happen, and he's going to get sued, but at least he saved Mickey and the remaining crew. Marilyn, however, sees the dollar signs in their predicament and gives him a month and 10 grand to finish the movie. He throws out the footage they've already put together and begins anew with the skeleton crew and just the essentials to get them through. A week's shoot, which it's $10,000. Wait a second. Let me do some math here. $10,000 divided by 5 would be $2,000 a day. $2,000 a day divided by, let's say 5 is 400. So he could theoretically pay a skeleton crew and cast $150 to $200 a day, maybe, depending on how skeletal we're talking. That's not great math, but I don't know. We'll figure out how to make it make sense. I guess technically he could have people volunteer to help. I also don't want one of my big problems is having Josh seem like a leech. But I suppose if people are volunteering to help him, then it kind of negates that issue. Let's see, Mad Mike. The movie does better because of real life twists, like a horror version of Tropic Thunder. Yeah, I guess it is like a horror version of Tropic Thunder. Actually, that's not a bad comparison. All right, so this actually isn't terrible sequentially. This is a good start. I definitely want to fill things in. I feel like what's going to end up happening is sequence 3 and 4 are going to be really chunky, and we're going to have to cut them down quite a bit. And then sequence 7 obviously has the least amount going on our page right now. But if you look at it, it's still a fair bit. Josh has to rally everybody, convince them to take on Steve, which I'm not 100% on him, like how he's going to rally the troops. And then they have to actually take out Steve, which I am 100% stealing from the what I believe was sequence 7 in Fall Guy. I could be mistaken because I only saw Fall Guy once in theaters, but I'm pretty sure sequence 7 in Fall Guy is where they do the pseudo fake, not pseudo fake, where they use their talents as stunt people to beat the bad guys, whatever that is. All right. I think that's a good, let's see, we're at 33 minutes. That's a good refinement for now. So let's go on to 3A. This is as your protagonist, write for 5 minutes. And 3A is I believe my role in life is to it's a tough one. Yeah, it's the fake scene where they I can't remember. All I remember is that they use stunt work to beat the bad guys, which I thought was a delight and a half. I really liked Fall Guy. I'm not proving that by misremembering how it goes, but I remember that being a pretty solid third act, if I remember correctly. So anyway, 3A, I believe my role in life is to create Gay cinema? I don't know, man. 3B. My favorite thing to do is make movies. This is pretty simple. 3C. I have a habit of. I have a habit. I have a habit of spending money in the wrong places. I feel like Alan Watt would hate how I'm doing this. Because I'm not, I will admit, I'm not taking these parts as seriously as they probably should be taken. But I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. But I will do them nonetheless. The closest I ever came to murder was, well, obviously this is pre the film, because closest thing ever comes to murder in the film is murder. Really, I did not realize that the director's cut was different from like a narrative perspective. I figured the director's cut would just be like a little bit more action or something. Now I have to see the director's cut of Fall Guy, because that movie fucking slaps. All right. So, one second, yawning. Closest thing I ever came to, the closest that I ever came to murder. Hey, Allison. The closest that I ever came to murder. Oh, you know what? Was when the last day of Twink of the Damned went completely to shit, and I was pretty much down to kill my cast and crew for what was essentially my fault. That's being overly honest, but that might work. The lack of spaces here is driving me crazy. One second. Boop, boop. And then 3E, the truth I am resisting about myself is that I am the root of all my own problems. If I simply accepted that and what's the word when you're went at them head on, confronted them head on. If I simply accepted that and confronted them head on, I would be able to get past them. I'm the root of all my own problems, man. All right, so let's here, let me bring up the full screen. I wish if anyone from StreamYard is listening to me now, which I highly doubt, I would love to be able to present multiple screens at once, but I don't think that's possible. And I find it kind of irritating that I have to stop the screen sharing to share a different screen or to share a different window. It'd be nice to be able to switch in between them more easily. Just throwing that out there. All right. So day 14, we are uniquely qualified to tell our story. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I went too far. So this is the end of week 2. And let's go ahead and, nope. This is day 14, right? Yeah. Day 14. All right. As your protagonist, write for 5 minutes. 1A, my childhood. Oh, God. Dream was to. Here, I'll just write these out real quick. My perfect day would be. Let's see. I would be crushed if anyone knew this about me. It's not really something, a line you finish. That's really more of a question than anything else, but whatever. 1D, I used to believe that. 1E, my worst defeat was when. 1F, I will finally rest when. And that's everything we have to do for day 14. So let's switch back to just the script, at which I will stop the presentation. Window, fade in. Sure, there we go. Oh, which means I can move it off the screen. Wait a second. Let me just make this a little bit easier for myself. Can I? That's not really going to work. All right. Can I? There we go. Okay. So my childhood dream was to. I feel like I'm going to be a little dumb here. Make gay Citizen Kane. Done. My perfect day would be shooting a film with a good budget with Mickey in the starring role. I think I might just have Mickey called Mickey. I would be crushed if anyone knew this about me. I would be crushed if anyone knew this. I feel like we did something similar to this already. Citizen Kane. Ooh, you know what would be great is, and I feel like there's already a musical like this, but a musical based on the tale of Ed Gein, and it could be called Citizen Gein. That would be super sick. Citizen Gein. I would be crushed if anyone knew this about me. I don't. Oh boy. I guess this could come back to the money issue. You're right, Tia. Citizen Kane is a great title. I would be crushed if anyone knew this about me. I wasted my money, my investors' money, on needless expenses and used the money like a fool. I feel like he doesn't want anyone to know that. That's a good like secret to keep throughout the film. I don't know where it would make the most sense to reveal that, but it definitely, I feel like that's like that's the deep seated secret that he's maintaining, is that if anyone knew this, I would be like, no one would trust me ever again, and my career would be finished before it even started. I think that works. Again, I really wish I would give $0, but a lot of fake money for Alan Watt to show up on this show and talk through this with me. Speaking of which, I will be bringing in others to work through this with me as we go. Right now, we're in the solitude era, but pretty soon we'll add in some people, some creative, some fellow creatives to help work out the plot. Tia, if you ever want to go on the show, let me know. I used to believe that. I could do no wrong. That I had this filmmaking thing all figured out. It turns out I didn't. I only knew what I had learned, but in reality, there's always something you don't realize you don't know, which is very true of life in general. My worst defeat was when Twink of the Damned went to shit and we didn't shoot anything for a year. Duh. And then I will finally rest when. Ooh. I know you're already here. I'm saying if you ever want to be like on the show proper, you doink. Let's see here. Maybe the cast keeps complaining about scenes, locations, lines getting cut, and finally, exasperated by it all, he blurts out, "We have no fucking money." Ooh, that's not bad. I'm going to add that to my notes, actually. All right, so that's the moment where Josh reveals his biggest mistake. That could actually, let's see, that could fit at the end of sequence 6, maybe. Maybe it could be part of this bit where Josh says we're making garbage. And then he can admit to self-sabotaging the whole production, which then turns him into the bad guy in Steve's eyes because he's betrayed Steve by betraying by betraying the production, essentially. And Steve kind of works as like a reflection of a filmmaker who looks at everything in the most negative possible way. And of course, in this case, the most negative possible thing to do is murder. I will finally rest when I make a big budget film. I feel like that's pretty good. My childhood dream was to make Gay Citizen Kane. My perfect day would be shooting a film with a good budget with Mickey in the starring role. I would be crushed if anyone knew this about me. I wasted my investors' money on needless expenses and used the money like a fool. I used to believe that I could do no wrong, that I had this filmmaking thing all figured out. It turns out I didn't. I only knew what I had learned, but in reality, there's always something you don't realize you don't know. My worst defeat was when Twink of the Damned went to shit and we didn't shoot anything for like a year. And I will finally rest when I make a big budget film. I mean, that's a reasonable goal to have for him. What if this makes the cast temporarily think that he's doing the killing out of desperation until the next body falls? A bit of the Thing paranoia. Well, then let's see, where could we put that? Let's see. Maybe it's sequence 5, actually. Production moves to secluded location. There, Josh does some of his best work yet and goes back to basics to get things done. Unbeknownst to him and his small crew, the killer has followed them to the location. Unfortunately, things do not go quite as planned. With the day nearly finished, there's still several pages of script left to go. Josh's doubt returns as he realizes that this is his last chance, quickly falling apart. And he admits to wasting all of the money. And just then he hears Mickey scream. Let's see. I don't know about them thinking he's killing out of desperation, but the problem I'm facing right now is there might be too much in here. So it feels like there might be a lot of fat to cut out. We might be good on plot. Or I could be misreading this and underthinking. I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. But I like that we sequenced this out. Let's see. Let's present. I think we're done, but I'm curious about the remainder of this, or what's going to happen tomorrow. So here is my Kindle. So week 3 is the outline. Let's see here. And he still has writing exercises. At some point, the writing exercises stop. God, some of these prompts I absolutely hate. I wonder if, let's see, week 4. Where is, go over the outline. Day 29, we write our first draft. Okay, and now that's where we start. So right now our goal is to get to day 29. And once we get to day 29, that's going to be when things get really fun. But first we have to get through all this bullshit. So we'll see how busy I am tomorrow, but we'll try to get through as much as humanly possible tomorrow when we do day 15. We're not going to get all the way to day 29, obviously, but at some point this week, I'd like to do an extra long episode and really delve through things. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, Mike with some more. I just thought if he lost the crew some more, then the fight to the finish the film would get a bit harder until they all have to come together to survive both the killer and filmmaking. Okay, so at some point we need the crew to fuck off, basically. One second, let's look at this. Oh, good golly. Okay. He missed wasting all the money, prompting the crew to leave. And just then he hears Mickey screams. So this is putting him a bit, well, that feels like the end of sequence 6. But we're doing a slasher. I guess ending sequence 6 with Steve in full murder mode, wanting to kill Josh, is pretty much the all is lost moment, because at that point his crew is gone per sequence 5, and sequence 6 ends with him being chased down by a madman. That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then that actually gives us more to do in sequence 7 with the troops rallying. That's gonna be hard to figure out, but it definitely makes more sense to have. I guess this could actually take care of the problem of Josh verbally rallying the troops, and it could be that they somehow they hear him talking with his speech to Steve, and during the speech he admits to all of his faults, and basically says he's sorry. There's something here that I'm missing. There's definitely something here I'm missing. And I feel like it's something that we will just have to work on as we go. Because I'm not feeling this back half like I should be. It's not bad. It's just not quite right. Something's not making sense. And that's a good place to stop. Isn't it? Not making sense. All right, so let's just add a note. Need to That's true. They could simply come back, and I guess we could seed the idea that he's worth helping into the script. Yeah. I guess he could have, by being a good director, they forgive him for what he's done, and they come back and help save the day. That's not bad. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, we're approaching our hour mark for the evening, so I think that's going to be it for now. Mike, you're the MVP for this evening. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. All right. With that said, guys, thanks so much for joining me for another edition of this stream that is quickly sapping me of subscribers. I'm legitimately losing subscribers doing this, but that's okay. I'm committed. We're going to keep this going. And we're going to write a script. God damn it. And yeah, thank you for showing up. And until next time, guys, go make a movie.
It's gonna take me some time to give you all that is mine. I'm looking ultra fine from your view from behind. It's gonna take